On August 23, 1968, Bryant had escaped from the District of Columbia Department of Corrections Reformatory at Lorton, Virginia, by crashing an automobile through a chain-link gate in a temporary fence. He had been working on the vehicle in the automobile shop. Bryant had been sentenced on April 5, 1968 to serve 18 to 54 years in the custody of the Attorney General after his conviction in the U.S. District Court, Washington, D.C., for bank robbery and assault. This conviction resulted from Bryant's participation in approximately 6 Washington, D.C. area bank robberies. The federal grand jury, Eastern District of Virginia in Norfolk, returned an indictment on September 9, 1968, charging Bryant with violation of Title 18, United States Code, Section 751, as an escaped federal prisoner. The FBI began an immediate investigation, which included interviews with Bryant's family and associates, to apprehend him. On January 8, 1969, the Citizens Bank and Trust Company of Maryland, Fort Washington branch, was robbed by a man who escaped in a maroon Cadillac. 2 of the victim tellers identified the robber as Billy Austin Bryant, for they remembered him as a customer of the bank prior to a conviction for a bank robbery in 1968. The FBI was immediately notified of this robbery and of the tentative identification of Bryant as the robber. Bryant's wife was known to reside in an apartment in the southeast Washington, D.C. area. Therefore, 3 FBI agents proceeded to the vicinity of her residence to determine whether the maroon automobile had been seen in the area. After determining that the Cadillac was not in the vicinity, the agents decided to advise Bryant's wife of the robbery in case Bryant tried to contact her. Unwittingly, the agents passed Bryant's wife descending the stairway as they proceeded to her apartment. In response to a knock by one of the agents, the door of the apartment was partly opened by a man who stated that Mrs. Bryant was not home. The agents identified themselves and asked this individual if they could come in and talk to him. The man stated that since it was not his apartment, he could not invite anyone inside. At this point, the individual began firing a gun point blank at the 3 agents. After a quick succession of shots, he slammed the door. 2 of the agents were struck by the shots, and the third fired 2 shots into the closing door. The 3rd agent immediately returned to the FBI car and radioed for assistance. The 2 wounded agents, Edwin R. Woodruff and Anthony Palmisano, were rushed by ambulance to a nearby hospital where they were pronounced dead on arrival. Special Agent Palmisano was born on November 3, 1942 in Newark, New Jersey. He was awarded a B.S. degree in Business Administration from a university in Newark. He entered on duty with the FBI on June 27, 1960, and performed clerical duties until he was appointed to the position of Special Agent on July 10, 1967. Special Agent Palmisano had been assigned to the Charlotte field office before being transferred to Washington, D.C. Special Agent Woodruff was born on January 22, 1941, in Brooklyn, New York. He graduated from a university in New York with a B.S. degree in accounting. Before his appointment as an FBI agent on May 22, 1967, Woodruff worked as a part-time police cadet in a clerical capacity and as a criminal investigator for the U.S. Treasury Department in New York. Before being transferred to Washington, D.C., Woodruff had been assigned to the Cleveland FBI office. In a matter of minutes after the shooting, the apartment house was surrounded by D.C. Metropolitan Police officers and FBI agents. Tear gas was fired into the apartment, but upon entry it was determined that the individual had made his escape down a tree adjoining the rear of the apartment near a bedroom window. The surviving agent identified a photograph of Billy Austin Bryant as the individual who fatally wounded the 2 agents. An intensive search of the surrounding area was conducted by the FBI, the Maryland State Police, the Prince George's County Police, the Prince George's Sheriff's Office, and the Metropolitan Police Department in an effort to apprehend Bryant.